The Honourable Member for Calgary-Lougheed.
All honourable members agree. Serenity's death was a tragedy. Every one of us needs to do everything possible to prevent a situation like this from ever happening again. And the Office of the Child and Youth Advocate does amazing work as it offers solutions to the issues that Children's Services faces. To the Premier, you have publicly stated that all of the Child and Youth Advocate's recommendations were accepted by your government. But can you please tell the family and all Albertans, have all of these recommendations actually been implemented yet?
The Honourable Minister of Children's Services.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I'm thankful for the partnership we have with the Child Youth Advocate in terms of his commitment and passion towards the safety and protection of our vulnerable children in this province. And Mr. Speaker, we work very closely with the Child Youth Advocate to understand the intent of the recommendations and to move forward. Some of the recommendations obviously are incredibly complex and will take years to implement, but Mr. Speaker, we're making progress on them all in order to make this system better, because that's why we have a Minister of Children's Services. That's why we had the panel, because we're committed to working together to ensure the system is better off than it has been for far too long.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. First supplemental.
Given that criminal record checks must be completed on all adults living in a residence where children in care are to be placed, and given that the Child and Youth Advocate's report indicates that these checks were performed on the parents that Serenity was placed with, but not for the adult children who also lived there, to the Minister of Children's Services, what new directives have you issued to your department to ensure that criminal record checks for all adults occur in all care homes as your department policy dictates?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, once again, I'm thankful for the team within Children's Services is very committed to protecting the children within this Alberta. There's been much progress made over recent years in terms of ensuring that policy is implemented. Mr. Speaker, we continue to provide the resources that those staff need to ensure that they are able to do the work that they're being asked to do. Mr. Speaker, absolutely, while money doesn't fix everything, money sure helps the staff to be there and to provide the services and resources that they need. So, Mr. Speaker, we remain committed to funding the department in order to be able to implement the policy that they need.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Second supplemental.
Given that one of the major concerns with Serenity's case was the length of time it took to perform the autopsy, and given that in 2015, 1.75% of autopsies took longer than 9 months to perform, and given that Serenity's autopsy took a full 2 years to complete, which may well have compromised the criminal investigation into her death, to the Minister once again, how many autopsies in Alberta take 2 years or longer to be completed, and what are your plans to deal with this on an urgent basis?
Too late for urgent.
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We certainly know that the autopsy in this case did not move forward in a particularly timely manner. Obviously, there are some cases in which there are complications, but we will be looking very closely to ensure that we can expedite those processes, Mr. Speaker. It's incredibly challenging, we know, for families who are waiting for the outcomes of these autopsies. We absolutely know. That's why we've made it a priority. That's why we've invested in hiring more medical examiners. And Mr. Speaker, we will absolutely be ensuring that those timelines come down.